When it comes to self-development, no matter the method you use, the vital point is to practice. If you're ready to transform your life and claim the potential inside of you, you're in the right place. Welcome back to the Vital Point Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Schechter. As a transformation coach and breathwork facilitator, I'm invested in making the dynamic landscape of personal evolution accessible. My goal is to inspire you to take action for yourself. You have the capacity to evolve and bring your intentions and dreams into the world, and there's never been more access to so many incredible modalities that can help you on your journey. This podcast will help you learn simple methods you can use to transform your life and share the stories of practitioners who are doing the work so you feel inspired to go and practice, because that's the vital point. One of the traditions of Tibetan Buddhism is this idea that things have three different meanings. There's an outer meaning, an inner meaning, and a secret meaning. And when it comes to Blue Magic Alchemy, the name of my brand and company and community that's growing, there's an outer, an inner, and a secret meaning. Obviously, we'll start at the outer meaning. So if we look at Blue Magic Alchemy, the outer meaning is fairly obvious to me. Blue has always been my favorite color. Magic and alchemy, to me, are two sides of the same coin. It's something that I've explored. It's something that I've had experience with as far as being in the medicine space and having this experience. And I've talked about this on the podcast before about magic, what we consider magic, to simply be science that we don't know how to explain yet. And that's my understanding of alchemy as well. You know, alchemy was, this pursuit of changing substances, right? It was also this attempt to bridge magic with science. And, thinking about starting a brand, and at the time, I didn't have any aspirations to coach necessarily. I definitely didn't have the idea for the podcast yet, but I just wanted to have a breathwork company and be doing breathwork with people. And so this idea of alchemy for me was very alive, because I was really just discovering the transformative power of breathwork. And there was kind of this magic. And there's also another piece to the outer meaning. And this is definitely one where you might want to be watching on YouTube. The meaning has been here in more ways than one, in plain sight, the whole time. If you're watching the show rather than listening to it. And if I get into the outer meaning, there's this little thing that might look like a sculpture. I'm going to bring it out here. And on one side, it's a sort of wizardly character wrapped in this blue robe. On the other side, it's a wizard's hat. And it's also a bell. It's not the most melodic bell, but my partner Aya gave me this bell and this really neat little sticker piece of paper I haven't taken it off, but it says, "This unique bell is gifted with the magical powers necessary to summon the force. The user should keep in mind that magic operates on its own timetable, and also that the force may well be in disguise, and that it comes from one's inner self, not the skies. Assume nothing, expect even less, but trust that it will work. And there's so much there. It was such a beautiful gift. And there's so much there just that we could unpack, as far as trusting the process, as far as believing in yourself. But I'm just going to ring the bell and just allow this idea, maybe set an aspiration for yourself. When you hear the sound of this magic bell, have confidence that it's coming true. So that's the outer meaning of Blue Magic Alchemy. The inner meaning is mushrooms. Mushrooms have been my ally, I guess my strongest ally, as far as plant medicine and entheogenic, work that I've done. I've talked at length about this on the podcast, about some of my experiences that, led me to where I am right now. Just in summary of a few of them, a couple of weeks before I ended up ending this marriage of close to 12 years, give or take, I had a pretty powerful mushroom experience. And it was the first time that the mushrooms communicated with me, or maybe that I was open to listening. And we had this whole dialogue, and, they shared with me these different moments in which they had kind of influenced different things in my life. In the year 2000, 2001, I had a show called Digital Pulse that was on the internet. It may be hard to imagine, but there was no streaming video then. It was just taking off. And yeah, I had this really cool show. And I came up for the idea for that show while I was on mushrooms. I had not thought about that for, 18 years until the mushrooms pointed them out to me during that journey. When I went back and read the journal that I had been using for integration, even though I didn't really know what integration meant, of that journey, right, in 2018, right before I left my ex-wife, it was very, very obvious to me that I was ready to go. But I had no idea that it was going to be that quick, that sudden, that I was that close to the tipping point. And as far as the last few years, mushrooms have been the most transformative medicine that I've worked with, hands down, and the medicine that I feel the closest to. And this is a subject that I could go on and on and on about. So let me know if it's of interest. But suffice to say, if you don't know, psilocybin, which is the magic part of the mushrooms, if you want to call it that, the hallucinogenic psychedelic substance in mushrooms, is blue. When you pick fresh mushrooms, if you bruise the flesh of the mushroom, it will turn blue. And you can tell some really strong mushrooms because even when they're dried, they may have a bluish hue or just be blue in general. So, yeah, Blue Magic Alchemy, the inner meaning is mushrooms. And then the secret meaning of Blue Magic Alchemy lies within some transpersonal experiences that have occurred. One of them was during a mushroom journey, mushroom ceremony. But they involve deities that are blue. One is the Medicine Buddha, of which I have, you can't see him being blue in this little statue that I have up here. I bought this statue when I was in Tibet, when I lived there in 2005 to 2006. But when you see pictures of the Medicine Buddha that aren't metal statues, the Medicine Buddha is blue. And I had a very interesting experience with the Medicine Buddha about 3 weeks after my first ayahuasca ceremony. There's been a few other kind of unexplained communications and visitations from the Medicine Buddha, and the Medicine Buddha is my main Vajrayana practice. And then the other one is Shiva, who isn't always blue, but usually is. And I've talked at length on the podcast about some of the transpersonal experiences with Shiva. If you want to hear more about that, definitely check out the transpersonal episodes with Katrina Michelle. But both the Medicine Buddha and Shiva are blue. Both of these energies, both of them are energies that I have had these transpersonal experiences with. And the energies and forces with which I identify with, that I really connect with, and that I let myself be guided by. They're both energy beings with whom I have a really strong connection. So that's the outer inner secret meaning, origin of Blue Magic Alchemy. And it's an amazing thing to reflect on and connect with here, 4 years later. It started as this idea. It may have come during a medicine ceremony. But however it started as just like a moment of clarity and insight, a seed that seemed important to pay attention to. And that seed, that idea, is still growing. I planted it, I watered it. It continues to grow. It continues to bear fruit. As of today, recording this podcast, there are a couple thousand people who at least are connected as far as social media. That number continues to grow every day. I've been working now for almost a year as an integrative therapist and 2 years as a coach and 3 years as a breathwork facilitator. It's been over 5 months since I quit the corporate job and took this on full time. And so things continue to flourish, things continue to grow. And that seed, which at one point was just an idea, it's amazing when you think about energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just changes form. So literally this idea appeared out of nowhere on one level, but why out of all the ideas that I've had has this one stuck? Has this one continued to resonate? Perhaps there's some sort of divine inspiration that comes from somewhere else. All I know is that I continue to trust it, I continue to follow it, and it continues to be a central part of my dreams and what I want to bring into the world and what I want to create and leave as a legacy to benefit others. The work, I find the work that I'm doing extremely gratifying, extremely humbling. And I feel extremely grateful to be holding space, to be of service, to be helping people investigate and integrate their own dreams and their own experiences, to support them in their own inner work by helping them learn to use their breath, whether that's for awareness, for nervous system regulation, for exploration, and holotropic moving towards wholeness. And I just want to say thank you for being here, for being part of this mandala. Again, if we go back to the outer inner secret, within Vajrayana Buddhism, there's a practice of mandala offering, in which you offer this symbolic representation of the entire universe. And within the mandala offering, the entire universe is that outer experience. The most secret experience is everything in your reality and being able to offer that. And so that's what I mean by gratitude for you being a part of this mandala, is that we are all connected. We are all part of this. And by listening to this podcast, by taking the practices that we've offered here and trying them out for yourself, practicing them, letting that lead your curiosity, you are a part of this mandala, and I'm a part of your mandala. We're all part of a much bigger mandala. And in closing, I just want to say thank you for that. I appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Appreciate you continuing to support the podcast. And I'm going to keep watering this seed, this beautiful plant that's growing, bearing fruit. So I really hope that you found value and inspiration in this episode. And if you haven't already, please leave a review on whatever platform you are listening or watching the podcast on. It really helps. It's a simple, free way to show support and help more people discover the show. Also, if you haven't done so already, sign up for the newsletter at bluemagicalchemy.com to be the first to get updates, exclusive content, and insights delivered straight to your inbox. It's another way to stay connected, to keep cultivating your own wisdom and support your journey. When you sign up, I'll send you a free guide to using breathwork for integration as a way to show my gratitude for your support. And if you're ready to dive deeper into that breathwork for integration, I'm currently taking new clients for my 6-week breathwork for integration program, where we go over the full spectrum of breathwork, from awareness of mind, body, and breath, into using the breath for regulating the nervous system, which is very, very important if you're working with plant medicines and entheogens, all the way up into the breathwork for transformation, where you're using the breath to enter an expanded state so that you can connect to purpose, connect to your creativity, connect to your higher self, and let go of what is no longer serving you. So if you're interested in that, send me a message, an email, or you can go to calendly.com/bluemagicalchemy to set up a free discovery call. Again, that's calendly.com/bluemagicalchemy. And to say thank you for supporting the show, if you set up a discovery call, mention that you heard about this on the podcast, and we'll take 20% off of whatever offering you decide to move forward with. Remember, this work isn't about the method or the pace at which you're integrating and implementing. The vital point is to consistently show up for yourself in practice. As the saying goes, words don't cook rice. It's not the destination. The journey is what truly matters. The practice is what truly matters. And I'm honored and grateful to be here with you on yours. Please don't hesitate to reach out, to connect, to share your journey, the successes and challenges alike. I'm just an email, DM, or review away. Thank you again for tuning in. Until the next episode, keep exploring, keep growing, and above all, keep practicing, because that's the vital point.